Hello beautiful people of the internet, how are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video I'm going to be doing the Goodreads Book Tag. I don't know who originally created this tag. I got the questions from Paperback Dreams. She just did this recently on her channel and I was really looking for a quick and fun tag video that I could film because this video is pre-filmed. I am filming it before I go to England, which in case you haven't heard, I'm going to do a semester abroad in England, so I wanted to have some videos on the back burner so that when I first get there I don't have to worry about it. I'll have things ready to go, so I hope you guys enjoy this quick tag video. I also feel like the light is really bad in here for today for some reason. Maybe it's like kind of cloudy out and that's why, I don't know. So I apologize if the lighting is not great. The lighting in my future videos may not be great because I don't think I can take my ring light with me to England. I'm not sure it's gonna fit in my suitcase, but we'll see. So question one is, what was the last book that you marked as read on Goodreads? At the time of my filming this video, the last book that I marked as read was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. The time that I'm filming this, I actually finished it literally just last night. And this is a first book in a popular young adult historical fiction mystery series, and it follows a young woman named Audrey Rose who's interested in forensic science, and she ends up trying to solve the mystery of Jack the Ripper with the help of her love interest, Thomas. I gave this book 3 stars on Goodreads. I will talk about this in my August wrap-up video, so if you want more of my thoughts, you can just go watch that video. I don't need to reiterate it here. And I did think it was entertaining enough, but it really didn't blow me away in any aspect, so I'm not sure if I'm going to read any of the other books. I believe the 4th and final book is coming out at the end of this year. Maybe it'll already be out by the time that this video goes up. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly when it's being released. And I would consider reading the 2nd book, but I also don't feel a burning need to continue this series, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do at this point. The next question is, what are you currently reading? I'm actually not currently reading this yet, but I'm going to start it, and that's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. I got this on audiobook from my library. I was actually thinking that I wouldn't get it until I was in England because they said it was going to be about 2 weeks, and then it ended up being ready for me early, so I might have to renew it because I don't think I'm going to finish it because I'm going to England so soon and I'm not going to be reading like the first day that I'm there. So I'm gonna have to either renew the audiobook or put it on hold and then check it out again, possibly. But this is a collection of short stories set in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe many years before the main series starts, and it follows a hedge knight named Sir Duncan the Tall and a young Targaryen prince named Aegon, also known as Egg, and their adventures together after Egg becomes Dunk's squire. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms includes the first 3 novellas in the Tales of Dunk and Egg series, and those are The Hedge Knight, The Sworn Sword, and The Mystery Knight. And the audiobook is also narrated by Harry Lloyd, who, if you watch the Game of Thrones TV show, played Daenerys' brother Viserys Targaryen. So I think this is going to be a really interesting audiobook to read, and I'm excited to try these stories out. The next question is, what was the last book that you marked as to be read on Goodreads? And that was His Hideous Heart, which is a collection of short stories edited by Dahlia Adler. This is a short story collection that is reimagining some of the most famous tales and poems written by Edgar Allan Poe. I really like Edgar Allan Poe, so I thought this sounded like a really interesting thing to read. 13 young adult authors all contributed to it, and I'm going to have to read their names off the Goodreads description because I don't remember all 13 of them. So the contributors to this collection, some of whom I have heard of on BookTube and some of whom I am not, are Kendara Blake, reimagining Metzen Gerstein, Rin Chupeco, reimagining The Murders in the Rue Morgue, Lamar Giles, reimagining The Oval Portrait, Tessa Gratton, reimagining Annabelle Lee, Tiffany D. Jackson, reimagining The Cask of Amontillado, Stephanie Cuen, reimagining The Telltale Heart, Emily Lloyd-Jones, reimagining The Purloined Letter, Hilary Monahan, reimagining The Mask of the Red Death, Marieke Nijkamp with Hop Frog, Caleb Roerig, reimagining The Pit and the Pendulum, and Fran White with The Fall of the House of Usher. I have actually read all of those short stories and 1 poem except for The Oval Portrait, so I will definitely have to check that out before I pick up this collection. I think the ones that I'm probably most excited for would be Tessa Gratton's reimagining of Annabelle Lee and Tiffany D. Jackson's The Cask of Amontillado, because Annabelle Lee is my favorite one of Poe's poems, one of my favorite ever poems actually, and I love The Castle of Amontillado. It's my favorite of his stories. Hop Frog is also pretty good, actually. I think that one's a bit underrated. So really excited for this collection. I hope that it's good. I should also add this collection is coming out on September 10th of this year, which I think will have already passed by the time this video is going to be posted. So I think this would be a really good thing to read around Halloween this year. I think it would definitely have the right creepy atmosphere for Halloween. The next question is, what book do you plan to read next? I kind of answer this with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms because I haven't started that, but I included it for that question because I'm not currently reading anything. I need to start something new. I think that one definitely I'm going to read soon. I am bringing A Dance with Dragons, also by George R.R. Martin, and The Sun and Splendor by Sharon K. Penman with me to England, so I'm definitely going to be reading those in the foreseeable future. I'm not sure which one first or exactly when I'm going to start them, but I'm going to have them with me in case I want to pick up a book. I talked about those in my August TBR because I'm probably going to start one on the plane. I'm still not sure which one that is. I was leaning more towards A Dance with Dragons, but I'm going to be listening to A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, so do I want to be reading both of them at the same time? I'm not sure. One thing I do know for sure is that the classes I'm going to be taking, well, two of the classes, my two English classes, are going to be one on exploring Shakespeare and another on Jane Austen. I'm not sure what we're going to read first in my Shakespeare course. However, my Jane Austen course will be reading the 6 major novels that Jane Austen wrote, and I'm assuming we're going to be doing those in chronological order. So if that's the case, we'll be starting with Sense and Sensibility, which I actually have read before. So I'm probably going to be reading that in September. The next question is, do you use the star rating system? And I do. I kind of talked about this earlier when I said that I rated Stalking Jack the Ripper 3 stars. If you want to know more about how I rate books, I actually have an entire video talking about what factors into my ratings. But just to sum it up really quickly, 5 stars are reserved only for books that I really, really love, that I think are now going to be among my favorite books of all time, or books that I think were almost flawlessly executed. Obviously, nothing is perfect in this world, but ones that I think come pretty damn close. 3s and 4s are the star ratings that I give out most frequently, and I'm really only going to give something a 1 or 2 stars if it was something I actively disliked. And I don't actively dislike that many things. I think I really don't pick up books unless I think I'm really going to like them. Next question is, are you doing the 2019 reading challenge on Goodreads? And yes, I am. My goal for this year was 32 books, 1 more than I read last year, and currently I am at, I believe, 24. I am 4 books ahead of schedule at the moment, which makes me really happy, though I don't expect that to last because I generally read a lot more and a lot faster when I'm not in school. When I am enrolled in school, I have to do a lot of reading for class. I have a lot of homework. I have books that are required reading, so when I'm not doing schoolwork, a lot of times I just want to do something mindless, like go on YouTube or watch television. So I don't know how many books I'm going to be reading in the next couple months. I definitely think I can achieve my 2019 goal. And if I do 32 books this year, then I'm going to make my goal next year at least 1 more. So if I do 32 this year, next year's goal will be 33. If I do more than 32, then it'll be 1 more than whatever that number is. I'm going to talk about the next 2 questions kind of at the same time, and those are, do you have a wish list, and what is the book that you are planning on buying next? I don't have a wish list on Goodreads. I didn't even really know can you do that? I mean, pretty much everything on my TBR shelf on Goodreads is something that I want to purchase or get from the library, either way, because I don't think any books on my TBR on Goodreads are books that I actually physically own, except for maybe a couple. I think most of them are just books that I hear about and I add them to the TBR shelf so that I'll remember them. If it's something that I already physically own, I don't think adding them to my TBR shelf on Goodreads really serves me any purpose because they're on my shelf. I stare at them all the time. I haven't forgotten them. As for the book that I'm planning on buying next, I'm not sure. I am definitely trying to use the library more and not spend as much money on books because my thinking is, unless I think I'm going to read the book again, there's really no point in owning it. I did, however, add a lot of things on Book Outlet to my wish list recently. I just went in there, looked to see what they had, and if there was something that I might be interested in and it was on there for a good price, I added it. So I guess I'll add a screen cap or a screen recording of my wish list on there for you guys to look at. Those are probably going to be some of my next purchases. I might do a book outlet order later in the year. I don't really see a point in doing it right now when I'm going to England, but at some point I might place an order, and those might be some of the books that I get. So the next question is, do you have any favorite quotes? I have a lot of favorite quotes from books. My username on Goodreads and Tumblr is The Bright Precious Things, and that actually comes from a quote from The Great Gatsby, which is, all the bright precious things fade so fast and they don't come back. It's not a very uplifting quote, but I thought it made for a good literary related username, and I just think F. Scott Fitzgerald's writing is so beautiful. I also have several from A Song of Ice and Fire that I really like. For example, you saw her beauty but not the iron underneath. I really like that quote. I saw it on Tumblr long before I'd even watched that show or read those books, and I've always liked it. There is also one that I think is from A Dance with Dragons, sorry, I misspoke, that I've liked again since before I read the books, because when I was in high school I was on our Reading Olympics team and it was on our t-shirts, and it goes, "The reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies, but the man who never reads lives only one." Also, weirdly enough, even though I haven't read Wuthering Heights yet, there's this one quote from it that I saw when I was little that I've always liked, which goes, "Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same." And from what I've heard, I know that Heathcliff and Cathy really don't have a healthy relationship, but I just think that's such a beautiful sentence, and it's just so well written. So I've always really liked it, and I definitely want to read that book at some point, just haven't gotten around to it yet. I will. I don't know when, but I will. Question 10 is, who are your favorite authors? And I actually don't have any favorite authors listed on Goodreads, because in the past there weren't any authors that I really read consistently. I used to really like Sarah Dessen when I was in middle school, but I'm just not into that sort of contemporary romance genre anymore, so I wouldn't say she's still one of my favorite authors. Other than that, there's really not that many authors that I've read more than either 2 books or 1 series from. Like, I really like A Song of Ice and Fire, but can I say that George R. R. Martin is one of my favorite authors when that's the only series that I've read from him? Same thing with someone like J.K. Rowling. I really like Harry Potter, but am I gonna say that she's one of my favorite authors? I haven't read any of her Robert Galbraith novels, so I don't think I can really say that she's one of my favorite authors. She just wrote a series that I really liked. So if I guess I had to pick someone, I would say Jane Austen, because I have read 2 books by her and I definitely really like her stuff and want to read all of her other books. So I guess I would say she's one of my favorite authors. Actually, I think I might throw William Shakespeare in here, because I've read a lot of stuff by Shakespeare. I haven't read everything that he's ever written, but I have read several plays and I really enjoyed most of them. I love Macbeth, I love King Lear, I love Othello, and he has some good sonnets too. So I guess you could say Shakespeare's one of my favorite authors. I'm definitely very interested in him. I mean, you can tell I'm interested in Jane Austen and Shakespeare because I'm taking 2 classes this semester just entirely about them. So I guess they've achieved favorite author status. And the last question is, have you joined any groups on Goodreads? I did join the Catch Up Book Club Goodreads group. That is a book club that was created by Becca from Becca and the Books, Cody from Cody's Book Corner, some other people who just aren't coming to my mind at the moment. I'm really sorry. The group on Goodreads though really just isn't lively anymore. Nobody really comments on there. So they do still have live shows for the book club, but nobody really uses the Goodreads group. That is it for today's video, guys. I hope it wasn't too boring. If you liked this video, please give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every single week. Also, my social media links are down below if you want to follow me on my Bookstagram account or my Tumblr, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a spectacular rest of your day. Bye, and I hope to see you in the next video.